We're gonna do something a little bit different today. We're gonna leave the studio and go outside because so many of you are curious what's going on outside of my studio. It doesn't just all happen in the studio. I take a lot of walks. I do a lot out in the woods. And the reason I'm doing this special video is to celebrate 10 years of selling my art online. This is a big moment for me. I've been doing this for 10 years. I've learned a lot. So I wanted to share some insights that took me from, I don't know how to sell my art, to now I'm selling my work all over the world, and it paid for this little tiny house studio. So let's talk about it. So you're gonna get the real deal here. We got the birds, we got the cicadas going, we got the lawn maintenance going down the road. This is the reality of the sounds of my studio every day. So I wanna kind of walk you through the years of year 0 to now to tell you what has changed and especially what has changed about my strategy. In 2016, June, I listed my very first pattern on print on demand, and so that is the month I got my very first paycheck. Those were the days that I feel like you could list anything. Anything you put online was selling. And it wasn't like you had to think a lot about SEO or you had to think a lot about keywords. It just worked. You put art out there and it worked. And I did notice that some people were beginning to dominate certain niches. Like if you typed certain terms, some people were kind of dominating over there. But for the most part, you could make anything and it would sell. I know that sounds really awesome that you could just put art out there and anything would work. But for me, it was a little bit scary because it was like, I could just do anything. So what do you do when you can do anything? There's no right or wrong. There's no this works, that doesn't work. For me, it was very overwhelming. And so I started moving into this period of really focusing on search terms. And that's when we move into the 2019 era. But I do want to just step back a minute and tell you that from 2016 to 2018, I didn't make a ton of money on my art, but I was seeing proof here and there. I was seeing $20 here, $40 here, $50 here. And that was making a huge difference for me because we were literally living in an off-grid cabin in the woods. We used to say water in the tank is money in the bank because if it rained, we would get water and we didn't have to go to the store and buy water. That's literally where we were. We were hoping for rain so that we could not have to go to the grocery store to buy water and not have to go to the gym to take a shower. So I was thankful for every single dollar that was hitting my bank account. And I was starting to see that the designs where I put a little bit more work into what it was and what words people would be typing in search would sell more. And I started focusing in on that, and it made a huge difference moving into 2019, 2020 era. So I feel like 2019 to 2020 was a big period of change because the world was changing, COVID was happening, I had a baby in 2020, I was teaching a lot more, and so I really took a step back from print on demand and stopped focusing so much of my time on that. I was pursuing licensing more, I was doing books more, and one thing I noticed was that I thought my print on demand would just die because I was not paying attention to it anymore. So I thought, that's okay. If you're not working, you shouldn't get paid for it, right? The funny thing was, it did keep paying me. It did keep having that income coming every month. And actually, 2020 was my biggest year ever on print on demand. And yet I didn't do any work on it. And so those words, those keywords, tags, titles, and descriptions that we all get tired of hearing about were working for me when I was not working. I took time off to be with my baby. I did a book, I did some classes, and I didn't have to focus so much on the day-to-day of my business. So let's move into 2022 and 2023. This is when I started getting really interested in Etsy and seeing how people were building Etsy stores around being an artist, but using print on demand so they didn't have to ship anything. This for me was one of the most exciting realizations, is that I could be an Etsy artist. I could make work for Etsy and grow my licensing through Etsy, grow my awareness through Etsy without actually having to ship anything, because I was done with shipping. I had a baby, I didn't want to deal with it. And so that moment of realizing that I could do Etsy differently than the model that I had already seen totally changed. However, I was applying all those tags, titles, and description stuff that I learned over on print on demand that was still working for me onto my Etsy shop, and the whole thing still works. All those principles that worked before still work when you go to a different platform. So it's almost like you got to learn this stuff. Once you learn how to do your tags, titles, and descriptions and your keyword research, you got it. And then you're selling more work every single time you make something, every single time you list something. So let's move into the next couple of years, which is 2022 to 2024. This is when I felt like things were changing in a big way on the print on demand landscape. I was feeling like a lot more people were using print on demand. A lot more people were putting designs out there using like pre-made designs. You know, these designs that are like you buy a bunch on a stock site and then you just reuse them. A lot of people were doing that. And so they were making a lot of traction because they had the ability to make more designs than everyone else. So at that period, I really realized I need to lean in big to, number one, being an artist, making artistic style work, not as much the graphic design style work. And I also need to do a big focus on SEO. Basically, I realized if it's not SEO friendly, don't make it. Don't even waste your time. So this is also where I started getting more organized with my keywords. I started spreadsheets. I started keeping track of how many pages of search results existed for each search term and getting really serious about that research before I made the design. Moving into 2024 to 2026, I think we all know what was hitting the world by storm, and that is AI. This changes the game in a big way. And looking back at what I said about when people started using stock sites for print on demand, it really increased the volume of designs. Let's talk about stock sites being nothing. I mean, when AI hit the world, people can generate designs. Literally, you could say, make me 50 designs while I go eat lunch. Now, that being said, I don't think the quality of those designs are as good as the work that artists make. So I don't really see it as a huge competition from the buyer's perspective, but it does flood the market. There's just a lot more on the page, and that confuses people. So my strategy now, moving forward, I'm still focusing on keywords. I'm still focusing on getting my art in front of people using words. That is my number one marketing strategy. However, I'm also focusing on moving my work over to sites that, number one, value artists more and don't value AI, and number two, that don't seem to be flooded with AI users. Some sites even completely ban AI art, and I love those. I mean, I'm not totally anti-AI. I do use it for business tasks, but I don't like the way AI art looks, and I don't want to be an artist competing with other people who are using AI. That feels like, you know, going to a weightlifting competition and some people are allowed to use steroids and some aren't. It's not fair, right? So I am intentionally moving myself over to places where I feel that artists are more valued. So I want to talk a little bit about my marketing strategy today, partly because I made you all a share your stuff guide. So many of you have been a big part of my journey over the last 10 years by purchasing my art or by watching my classes, being part of my membership. I know for a fact that so many of you watching are a huge reason why I'm able to be in this tiny house studio every day, making the art that I love and then spending as much time as I want with my kids because I don't have to work a full-time job because I have this ability thanks to you all. So that is what this guide is all about, is everything I learned in the last 10 years and what works now. Because, you know, what worked 10 years ago, it doesn't work anymore. If I had had a class about marketing for artists 10 years ago, it would be 100% different from what it is now. So I have taken all those mistakes I made, all those things I learned, put them in this guide, and then I've asked other artists to come in and share their stories. So this isn't the Liz show. This is all about other artists who have done the work, come up with the strategy, and you're gonna find some friendly faces in here that you all know, like Erin Kendall and so many other awesome artists who are in here. Please grab this guide. It's a freebie. I made it for you all because I get the question all the time, how do you market your art? And the answer is, it depends. And that's the question that we want to answer here in the guide. What do you want from your work? How do you want to sell your work? And there's a marketing plan for you in this guide based on your combination of goals. So come grab it, come check it out, and tell me in the comments, what have you learned over the last few years, depending on how long you've been in the art selling or print on demand game. What have you learned, and what is working right now and what is not working right now? So thank you for visiting my studio today. Tell me if you like this format. We might do more videos like this. Hanging out in the woods with Liz, podcast type thing. Tell me in the comments and I'll see you there.